Hey guys, Jim Collects here. Thanks for coming along to check out another review and unboxing. Today we have Tarman from Return of the Living Dead. This is by Trick or Treat Studios, and they've got some fantastic movie box art here. You can see it's got the Return of the Living Dead down the side, picture of Tarman, I believe that's from the film on the back here. I'm pretty sure it's from the film. And then just some whodunits on the bottom, barcode, what have you. Now these boxes do feature a fancy slip open cover like that. And then we've got a nice photo of Tarman inside with the word brains written down the bottom, which is a very nice feature. I do have to say, Trick or Treat have done a bang up job with their 6-scale figures for the box art. I like how it represents the films. It was the same with the Halloween and to a lesser extent as well, Terrifier. But here we go, so we'll slide him on out. As you can see, he doesn't come with a whole lot. It's basically just the figure and the brain, and also a secondary head sculpt. It's nice to see that he comes with 2 head sculpts. I think they did a good job to include that there, especially considering the price point. So, without further ado, let's check out the brain. If I can get it out, there we go. All right, so first things first, fantastic detail on the brain. You can see how wet it looks. It's got a glossy kind of paint finish. You can see the details in the brain, all the different membranes, the brain stem coming out the bottom. They did a fantastic job on this, so I have to say, well done, Trick or Treat Studios. All right, and here we have the alternate head sculpt. There we go. Again, nice detail on this. His mouth does open. Look at that. That's fantastic. Rah, rah, rah. So yeah, nice work on that. He does. It's got a good facial expression. Obviously, it's quite goofy. The effects in the film were quite low budget. The film itself is quite goofy. Let's face it, but nicely done. A good representation of Tarman from the film. So let's check out the figure himself. Right, first things first. Let's get the plastic coverings off. So there's his main head sculpt. Then we get these plastic coverings off to reveal his gross hands and then his gross tar covered feet as well. So there we go, and that's the figure. Just get these out of the way. All right, so he's got some good weight to him. His head sculpt over here is nicely done. The eyes are very big and goofy. He's got a good swivel, relatively decent range of motion on the head. Can't go massively up and down. The mouth does move very slightly. There we go, we can get a good look at his eyes. Look at those goofy eyes. Love it. His teeth, nicely done. You can see a rib cage in there. These are kind of, I'm not sure what fabric this is, but these are quite loose. They kind of just come off to the side here. They're meant to represent dripping tar. There we go. So he's got a bit of range of motion to the arms there. Comes out to the sides. And let's check out the arm moving forwards. It doesn't go very far forwards. And oof, joints are stiff on his elbows. There you go. You got a single bend on the elbow there and a bit of arm swivel as well. There we are. So he's got a bit of hip bend as well. This is also, again, a rubbery fabric. I think it's rubber. Quite a loose fabric down there and also throughout the legs as well. This is it's layered on top of the actual body as a separate piece almost. A bit like trousers, tarry trousers. Quick look at the back, you can see more of the rib cage and the spine, of course. On the top half, it's all a hard plastic, and it's just a soft rubber plastic down at the bottom. Single bend in the knee, I believe there, but you can see it causes some bunching up when you do that. I mean, this isn't something you're going to have in a crazy dynamic pose anyway. He's not an action figure, he is a horror figure. All right, let's switch out the heads, get that alternate head on here, the goofy head, as I'm going to call it, because it's shaped a bit funny. There we go. So that's how he looks with the other head. This is a thinner head. Now, forgive me, it's been a minute since I've seen this film, so I can't exactly remember the difference in the 2 heads or why there's a difference between the 2 heads. Just obviously, this is a bit of a motion. So you can see his gloved hands there. They do look like gloves. Obviously, they would have been gloves that the actor wore in the film. Same down here as well. Bit of wrist movement. And again, there's that kind of rubbery fabric throughout, which hopefully won't degrade over time, but we don't know. And yeah, solid plastic on that top bit. So there's a bit of a difference between the top and the bottom in terms of feel. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to pop him in a couple of poses just to see what you can do with this guy. A little bit limited, but we'll do our best to make him look menacing and fun. See you in a sec. Alright, so here's our first pose. So I've got the alternate head on. There's not much really to say about this pose. It's a basic standing up museum pose. He's got his arms slightly raised, but like a zombie would. But there's not much to say about this one. He looks good on display. I'll say he looked nice on the shelf here. You can kind of see all of his details. That grinning head tilted slightly to the side is quite it's like 50% goofy, 50% creepy. It's a nice capture. What we'll do now is we'll slip over to the next pose. This time we'll utilize I want to use the brain in some way. So let's see what that will look like. All right, pose number 2. He's got a brain. That's it. It's his favorite brain. He is cradling the brain, and so in this one he's just holding his brain. Really nice. Just that brain, man. Honestly, it's one of my favorite things in this set. It's just so well done. He looks great holding it as well, with his hungry look in his eyes. So I've got the first head sculpt back on. I think I prefer this head sculpt. It looks a little bit better, but yeah. Now finally onto the third pose. And here we have our final pose. A bit more dynamic than the last one. Still got his brain, but now it looks like he's kind of shambling after you. I will say he fell over quite a few times trying to get this pose in place. But this is probably how I display it. Fantastic piece. What I'll say then is I'll give this a quick rating. I'm going to say a good 7 out of 10. Looks great on the shelf. Movement a bit restricted, but other than that, he looks good. He looks the piece. He definitely looks like Tarman from the film. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope to see you again soon. Bye.